On the news, toll gates to be introduced on Nigerian highways. Minister rules out another lockdown amid surge in COVID-19 cases. And Zambians vote in 10th presidential election. Glad to have you join us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Mary Kanu. 18 years after all toll plazas on federal roads across the country were dismantled, the federal government is set to reintroduce the tolling system in some selected roads. This was one of the decisions reached during the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. Our details in this next report. In 2003, former President Olusegun Obasanjo ordered the dismantling of toll gates across the country, citing loss of revenue to the government and poor maintenance of the tolled roads. After years of mulling plans to return the toll plazas, the federal government has now given approval for selected roads to be tolled. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola, after the cabinet meeting, rolled out highlights of a new federal tolling policy.
We've classified vehicles into 5 categories: the cars, the SUVs, and the jeeps as a second category, private bus and commercial bus and third and fourth categories, and then luxury buses and trucks as a 5th category. So the start-off tolls that we have for financial modeling and investment decision making, cars will pay 200 naira, SUVs and jeeps will pay 300, private bus will pay 300, commercial buses will pay 150, luxury buses and trucks will pay 500.
Also at the FEC meeting, the suspension of Twitter operations in Nigeria again came to the fore, with the Minister of Information providing updates on the level of negotiation with the microblogging site.
We've engaged Twitter, both in writing. We've engaged Twitter. We set up a technical committee to engage Twitter. They set up their own committee too. They have met virtually and they've exchanged correspondence about 3 times. And really, apart from dotting the I's and crossing the T's, we are actually almost there. As of today, we are not aware of any Twitter representative in Nigeria. And we say that representative shall be a staff of Twitter, but it must be one that has access to the global management of Twitter, so that he will not, so that he can serve as a liaison between Nigeria and Twitter.
On his part, with a new report on climate change by the United Nations and flooding witnessed during rainfalls, the Minister of Environment says the country is committed to reducing emissions to avoid a catastrophic situation.
This is part of the commitment that Nigeria made in 2016 during the Paris Agreement, that every country after 5 years will revise the commitment the country made in carbon down emission. So we, at the time, committed to reducing emission by 20% unconditionally, meaning we can do it ourselves.
FEC also approved $2.5 million and 498.2 million naira for 4 power projects in the country. Mary Kanu, TV360, Nigeria. While mixed reaction has continued to trail the planned reintroduction of toll plazas in the country, the government has argued that unless there is an alternative source of funding, it will not be able to maintain its roads. Let's now discuss this further. Shagari, an economist at Nigerian Economic Summit Group, now joins us on the news. Thank you for joining us on News Now, Mr. Shagari. Now, what are your thoughts on this plan by the government to reintroduce the toll, and how important is it for the country?
On the financial side, which I think is the first thing the government is considering, So this is almost 18 years after government actually demolished those plaza across the country. But why now? we all understand that at the moment, Nigeria, the physical space of Nigeria is so tight. So government is actually exploring all alternatives available to them to actually ensure their continuous inflow of revenues. And having toll plazas in place is actually one of the alternatives government is considering. But on the economic side, for people are looking at the pricing dynamics in Nigeria. So if you look at the inflation basket, you would understand that after food, transport is the second largest contributor to inflation rate in Nigeria. And the cost of transport is a key component of this basket of transport cost. So, and the price dynamics as far as transport is concerned is the final consumer pays. So the reaction you are seeing from people is their understanding of an increase in their monthly cost of transport to the people, while to the businesses, especially SMEs. So they are looking at increase in transport of logistics, of moving their goods from buying point to selling point, or from their storage points to the market. So all these price dynamics come back to the people in terms of increase in price of goods and services. So you expect people to react, because what this means is they would have to pay more for goods and services.
Well, now, in terms of administration, what would you advise to be done to ensure that the utmost benefit is derived from the tolling system?
At the moment, the options to the government is actually limited. So what we would say is for government to consider first improving those roads, selected roads that would be tolled. And the second policy of government should be towards efficiency of tolls collection. So there should be a departure from what we have 20, 21 years ago as far as toll revenue collection is concerned in Nigeria. For example, there are major roads that are tolled in countries like South Africa, and private and commercial bus users don't have to pay at every point. So they have like capturing technology that would capture the plate numbers of cars, and these are attached to, like, they have a prepaid transport card. So they have that are preloaded. So once your plates are captured, the due fee will be deducted automatically from your card. So what you have is payment, and at the point where you have exhausted the amount on your card, you would also have an overdraft on your card. And since they are like system of data connection and effective data around citizenship, plate numbering, who owns what and who uses what. So I think these are what government should put in place. First is ensuring improved quality of road. And the second is ensuring use of technology. So we shouldn't have the kind of experience commuters face along Lagos-Lekki Expressway on a daily basis, or the experience on Lekki-Ikoyi Link Bridge on a daily basis. Driving through these 2 points I have said, you understand they constitute a lot of cost in terms of time commuters spend in passing through this toll plaza on a daily basis.
I'm afraid that's all we can take on the news. Well, economists at Nigerian Economic Summit Group, thank you very much for your time, Shakiruddin. Well, moving on, Indonesia has formally apologized over the manhandling of an accredited Nigerian diplomat, Mohammed Buba, by immigration officials in the Southeast Asia country. A video of the Nigerian diplomat showing him being assaulted had sparked outrage across Nigeria, prompting threats from the federal government to review its relationship with Indonesia. In an interview on Thursday, Indonesian Foreign Ministry spokesperson expressed regret over the incident, saying it is in no way related to the commitment of the Indonesian government in carrying out its obligations as host country or in accordance with the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. Well, earlier I spoke to global affairs analyst Paul Ejime, and I began by asking him how serious the assault on the Nigerian diplomat in Indonesia is.
It's an illegal act committed against a sovereign state. Normally, your embassy, any country's embassy or high commission or mission in another place is inviolable. It means that it cannot be violated. It cannot be. That is why at times you find fugitives or political fugitives or people running to the embassy of some countries, because there they are covered by the law. They have the immunity, just like diplomats enjoy. And these are laid down under the Geneva Convention, that no matter what happens, you have to respect, because what it means is you are now dealing with the country, with the government, and then the whole apparatus that makes up that country. So if you violated the embassy ground, it means that you have disrespected that particular country, and that is how serious.
The Indonesian Foreign Affairs Ministry has tendered an apology on behalf of the country and the immigration officials. Now, is an apology enough?
Well, I haven't seen that statement. All I heard was that from the Nigerian Foreign Minister that he said that they have received an apology. Well, that could be a starting point. And then, like you said, if you now go through it and see how remorseful they are and how they need now to accept that, you know, they have done something criminal, and perhaps an apology to show, with showing sincerity. It's not enough to write something on the paper, but the letter and the spirit of that apology is what will be looked at before you now decide. Nigeria can decide on the next line of action. But I can tell you, if Nigeria does not handle it properly, it's just a signal to other countries to begin to take the country for a ride.
Well, that was Global Affairs analyst Paul Ejime speaking on the assault of a Nigerian diplomat by Indonesian immigration officials. Now, away from that and now to security matters, the Defense Headquarters has said the mounting offensives launched by troops has seriously depleted the fighting power of the Boko Haram sect. Director of Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Bernard Oyuko, said the increasing land and air bombardments of the terrorist enclaves has forced over 1,000 terrorists and their families to lay down their arms at different locations in the northeast. Well, our correspondent Mojisola Matomi tells us more.
Following the death of Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau, hundreds of terrorists belonging to the sect and splinter Islamic states in West African province ISWAP group have surrendered to embrace peace in Nigeria, as well as neighboring Cameroon and Chad. Director of Defense Media Operations Brigadier General Bernard Onyeko linked this to intensified operations of troops of Operation Adin Kai in the Northeast Theater.
No fewer than 1,000 terrorists and their families, comprising adult females, children, surrendered to own troops at different locations in the Northeast. Notable among them are the notorious Boko Haram terrorist bomb expert named Musa Adamu, aka Mala Musa Abuja, and his deputy, Usman Adamu, aka Abu Dauda. This has in no small measure depleted the Boko Haram terrorist fighting capabilities.
Onyeko also gave updates of other military operations at Darin Daji and Operation Wellstroke in the last 2 weeks.
Two notorious cattle rustlers named Malam Buba Umar from Niger Republic, Aime Hansi Ibrahim from Gada local government area of Sokoto State, as well as 4 other armed bandits and drug peddlers were arrested. Between the 2nd and 6th August, the air component of Operation Hadarin Daji carried out intensive airstrikes also on bandits' hideouts. The airstrikes, in conjunction with ground troops, dealt serious assault on them and neutralized no fewer than 123 bandits, and also the destruction of their logistic facilities. The operations led to the destruction of bandits' hideouts, arrest of 8 bandits including their informants, and also rescue of some kidnapped victims. Items recovered in the course of these operations include 6 AK-47 rifles, 1 SMG rifle, 2 pistols, 66 rounds of 7.62 ammunition, among other items. Within the same period, troops also held peace meetings with community heads youth leaders, and other stakeholders at different locations.
Onyoko added that within the period under review, troops conducted series of anti-illegal operations in the South-South region, where some illegal refining tanks and suspects were nabbed.
These led to discovery and deactivation of several illegal refining sites, with a total of 21 ovens, 12 dugout pits, 58 metal storage tanks laden with a total of 2.329 million liters of illegally refined automated gas oil, and 2.19 million liters of stolen crude oil, as well as 2 boilers and 750 bags of illegal refined oil products.
The Defense Headquarters says it remains committed to fighting all forms of criminality until sustainable peace is achieved nationwide. Mojisola Matomi, TV360 Abuja.
Hadiza Shagari, wife of former Nigerian President Shehu Shagari, has died at the age of 80. The news of her death was announced in a statement signed on behalf of the family by Muhammad Bala Shagari on Thursday. The statement revealed Hadiza died in the early hours of Thursday from COVID-19 complications. Her funeral prayer is expected to be held later today at the National Mosque in Abuja, in line with Islamic rites. Well, let's take a break here, but still to come, Nigeria drops on the latest FIFA ranking. Details of that and more after this break. Glad to have you back. Well, here's a quick reminder of some of our top stories tonight. 18 years after all toll plazas on federal roads across the country were dismantled, the federal government is set to reintroduce the tolling system in some selected roads in the country. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola said modalities are now being fine-tuned to determine how soon the tolling arrangement will take off. Well, we also told you that Hadiza Shagari, wife of former Nigerian President Shehu Shagari, has died at the age of 80. A statement from the family revealed that she died in the early hours of Thursday from COVID-19 complications. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. And in COVID stories, the federal government has said it is not considering a lockdown despite rising cases of COVID-19 infections across the country. Speaking at the weekly ministerial briefing organized at the State House in Abuja, Minister of Health Osage Hanire said the number of cases were not threatening enough yet for a lockdown to be considered. On Wednesday, Nigeria had recorded 790 COVID-19 infections, according to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the highest figure in about 6 months. A recent surge in infections has been partly attributed to the Delta variant, which is believed to be more contagious and deadlier. And the federal government has taken delivery of 177,600 doses of the single-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine through the African Vaccine Acquisition Trust, AVAT, with support from Afrexim Bank. According to the Africa Center for Disease Control, the vaccines were partly manufactured in Africa. The vaccines are expected to be deployed in hard-to-reach areas to eliminate the need for travel for a second dose. Meanwhile, the second phase of the national vaccination program is expected to kick off on Monday, August 16. And as part of continued efforts to find effective treatments against COVID-19, the World Health Organization says 3 new candidate drugs are currently being tested in the new phase of its global solidarity clinical trials. Director General of the WHO, Tedros Ghebreyesus, disclosed that the drugs will be tested under the Solidarity Plus program, the largest global collaboration among WHO's 194 member states. He said the drugs were selected for their potential and reducing the risk of death in people hospitalized for COVID-19.
We're pleased to announce the next phase in the Solidarity trial called Solidarity Plus. Solidarity Plus will test 3 drugs: artesunate, a treatment for severe malaria; imatinib, a drug for certain cancers; and infliximab, a treatment for immune system disorders such as Crohn's disease. These drugs were chosen by an independent panel of experts that evaluates all the available evidence on all potential therapeutics. The trial involves thousands of researchers at more than 600 hospitals in 52 countries. I would like to thank the government, hospitals, researchers, and patients who are participating in the trial, as well as the 3 manufacturers who have donated the drugs for the trial: IPCA, Novartis, and Johnson & Johnson.
Well, we'll take a break here and return with business and international news. Don't go away. Welcome back. Well, Folashade Ogunrida is standing by with the latest in the world of business. Over to you now, Folashade.
Well, thank you very much, Mary. The Department of Petroleum Resources has noted that investors have proposed to spend over $500 million in building gas pipelines and other facilities in Nigeria following the implementation of the Nigerian Gas Transportation Network Code that was launched last year. The Director and Chief Executive Officer of the DPR, Saki Awalu, will disclose this said to grow the economy of the country with the Nigerian Gas Master Plan. There is a need to stimulate the multiplier effects of gas in the domestic market. He added that through the implementation of the network code, the DPR was able to improve the much-needed market alignment between critical demand points for gas and available supply opportunities. We'll take a breather here and return with a review of the stock market. Do stay with us. Transactions of the Nigerian equities market closed on a positive note to maintain the previous day's bullish sentiment as all-share index rose by 0.11% and to close at 39,490 basis points. Now, market cap also saw a slight rise, though still hovers around the 20 trillion naira mark. Now, trading upturn was helped by investors' buy sentiment in some blue chip stocks like Honeywell Flour Mill PLC, as well as Wema Bank PLC, will let 7 gainers with a combined profit of 20 kobo. Now, for our laggards table, we see that SFL's Real Estate Investment Trust, as well as Triple G and Company PLC, led a losers chart with a combined loss of 6 naira 94 kobo. Now, for our market summary, we see that over 570 million volume of shares are valued at over 2 billion naira, exchange hands in 3,764 deals. Now, while it's been a run of wins at the NGX, some foreign stocks are not in their best shape. Now, as you can see, that FTSE, Dow Jones and Nikkei are all in the reds. The UK stocks lost ground despite an encouraging 4.6% growth rate for the second quarter of 2021. At the close, the UK blue chip index was down 26 points at 0.37%. Now, for the Dow Jones, it was a flat shortly after opening bell as traders reacted to another drop in US jobless claims, also closing in the reds at 0.28%. Now, we can see that our Asian stocks Nikkei also could not keep its head above waters as it closed in the reds at 0.29%. But that's it on the business segment on the news. Over back to Mary for the rest of the news.
Well, thank you for that update, Folashade. And in international news, Voting began in Zambia's general elections early on Thursday morning with long queues reported in some polling stations. Approximately 7 million citizens were registered to vote for a president, legislators and local government representatives in the polls that opened at 6 a.m. local time. 16 presidential candidates are vying for the top job, but the front runners are incumbent Edgar Lungu, who was among the first people to vote as polls opened in the capital Lusaka, and his longtime rival business tycoon Hakainde Ishilema, who is running for the 6th time. The country's electoral commission has said it will announce the results of the elections within 72 hours. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Congratulations are in order for rapper and songwriter Ladipo Esho, popularly known as Ladipo, as he welcomes his first child. The proud dad, whose hit single Feeling featuring Buju was #1 on several music charts this year, shared videos of himself rocking his newborn with the caption, "My second #1 this year." Ladipo became famous with his song No You featuring Timi, which went viral during the COVID-19 lockdown in 2020, as the song talks about two friends who want to be more than just friends. A brand new teaser for The Ghost and the Tout has debuted ahead of its anticipated release this September. Produced by Tony Abraham and directed by Amasamis, the sequel will continue the comic adventures of Isila, a tout with psychic abilities to communicate with the dead. The new teaser confirms Isila will have a new partner played by star actress Mercy Johnson Okoje. Principal photography kicked off for the sequel in May, with a star-studded cast including Patience Ozokwo, Iyabo Ojo, Odolade Adekola, Deyemi Okolawon, Ini Edo, Alinu, Real Worry Picking, Nice, among others. Ari and Chuko, a series critically acclaimed film Eyi Mofe, has landed a new international recognition. The film recently won the Best Feature Narrative category of this year's Black Star Film Festival, an international festival to celebrate Black and Brown and Indigenous film and video artists. Eyi Mofe follows the stories of Mofe, a factory technician, and Rosa, a hairdresser, and their quest for a better life as immigrants. It stars Jude Akuwudike, Temi Williams, Lala Akindoju, among others. And that is all that's left for you on the entertainment segment of News Now.
And now in sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria has dropped 7 places to 34th position globally in the latest rankings released by the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA. Nigeria failed to win any of their 3 international games, losing twice and settling for a draw once. Following their slide, the Eagles are now in 5th place in Africa. Senegal is ranked 1st in Africa and 21st in the world, while Tunisia's Carthage Eagles are now 28th globally and 2nd in Africa. Well, globally, Belgium retained top spot, while Euro 2020 winners Italy moved up into the top 5 behind runners-up England. Well, that's all in our bulletin at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Mary Kanu. Bye for now.